Hey guys, TCG Collector, back again with another video. Today we're revisiting Azlask, the Swelling Scourge. So for people who have seen the previous video and who have gave me some recommendations, we have made some changes. So we're going to go into the changed cards first, so the new additions, and then right after that we're going to go into the rest of the deck. So if you're only here for the new additions, we're going to hop right into them right now. We're going to start off with Concordant Crossroads. This gives everybody's creatures haste. That way we can tap our creatures for our mana and then sack them promptly right after. Then we're going to go into a Mass Hysteria, which is another thing that gives all of our creatures haste. Into an Impact Tremors, so that way when our Spawns and Scions ETB, all of our opponents are taking damage. So we have haste, mana, damage. Going into the Eldrazi Displacer, someone in the comments, if I could find their name, I'll put it right here, informed me that this and Brood Monitor are infinite tokens, which they were correct, which would also be infinite damage. I added it in just in case I go up against some higher pub stompy-esque decks. Then we have Growing Rights of Ilklamok. So it gets us a card. It flips into a Gaia's Cradle, so we can technically have two Gaia's Cradles. And then I added in some non-Eldrazi aspects here. So these are going to be our experience counter gainers. So in addition to our commander, we have Minthara, who has Ward X, where X is the number of experience counters we have. At the beginning of our end step, if a permanent we control left the battlefield this turn, we get an experience counter. Our Spawns and Scions are always leaving the field, which means we'll always guaranteed at least one counter. And creatures we control get +1/+0 for each experience counter, which means they can get infinitely big. That means our Spawns, who are typically 0/1s, can actually have some fight to them. Then I added in Marin, Clan of Neltoff. That way whenever we sacrifice our guys, we get more experience counters, and we can reanimate something at our end step. I even went ahead and added in Azuri, Claw of Progress. This one I'm not too sure on. He only pumps one creature, but whenever our Spawns and Scions enter, we are getting more experience counters. Then I went ahead and added a little more Anthem for Door of Destinies. That way our Spawns and Scions are more than just mana rocks, they're also threatening bodies. So whenever a creature of the chosen type is cast, we put a counter on Door of Destinies, and then creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each counter on Door of Destiny. Then I went ahead and added a little more draw variety with Vanquisher's Banner. So obviously we're going to choose Eldrazi, they'll all get +1/+1. Whenever we cast a creature spell of that type, we draw a card. Lastly, I went with Coat of Arms. So each creature that shares a type with each other gets +1/+1 for each other creature. That's going to do it for the new additions. If you were just here for that, hey, thanks for watching. If you're going to stick around, we're going to go right into the rest of the deck right now. Alright, we're going to start off with our basic land count. We're going to go into 2 mountains. We did get all of our basic lands in the full art foil Eldrazi lands. And there's our random cat appearance of the video. We're then going to go into 2 plains. And then we have 2 swamps, 4 islands, and 3 forests. That's going to be all of our basic lands for this build. Then we're going to go into our utility lands. We're going to start with a Gaia's Cradle and Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. Fun fact about this little pair here. If you have no creatures, but you have a Gaia's Cradle out, it doesn't tap for anything. But if you have a Yavimaya out, that will force this to be a regular forest, which will then make it tap for a forest. Same thing with our next utility land, Urborg. That'll make it tap for a swamp or the forest if you have both out. Our next utility land is Phyrexian Tower. So it taps for a generic colorless, which is good. That way we can cast a few of our spells that require the waste mana, or you can sacrifice a creature and add 2 swamps. Then we're going to go into our multicolor lands. We have Command Tower and Mana Confluence, and then my other City of Brass is elsewhere, but there we go, City of Brass. So we have 3 multicolor lands. Then we're going to go into our colorless variants. We have Eye of Ugin to make our Eldrazi's cost 2 less, and for the search effect. We have Eldrazi Temple to get 2 generic waste mana. And we have Ancient Tomb. Yes, it hurts us, but we can recover fairly easily. Now we're going to go into our dual color lands. So we have 1 of each dual land. You can replace all of these with shock lands or tap lands. The choice is yours. You don't need these. I run these. These are proxies, just for clarification. My view on proxies is if you've owned one, you can print as many as you want. Feel free to disagree. Let me know what your view on proxies is in the comments. Hey guys, I hope you did enjoy the new logo and banner that was made. If you want something made for yourself or an art commission, I'll have the guy's name and image right here on Instagram, and I'll put his link down below so you guys can go ask him about his prices. We're now going to head into the main deck. I'm just going to go right through it real quick. We're going to start off with instance. We have a Vampiric Tutor. Lets us search our deck at a cost of 2 life, put a card on top. We have TcgCollectorYT Command. This is high utility for us. It either gets rid of stuff, makes us bodies, draws us cards, or exiles cards from a yard. We have Cyclonic Rift 1, bounce a thing, and then Overload to bounce everything that isn't ours. We have Cyclonic Rift number 2 in the form of Ugin's Binding. It is devoid, which means it is colorless even on the stack. We bounce a thing we don't control, and then if we cast something with CMC 7 or greater, it is a Cyclonic Rift. Then we're going to go into Teferi's Protection for our last instant. Gives us protection for the turn. We're going to go into our sorceries. We have our Demonic Tutor, lets us search a card to our hand. Grim Tutor, at the exchange of 3 life, we get a card to our hand. And then we have Rise of the Eldrazi, which in my personal opinion, this should have been another Kindred spell, but I digress. We're going to go into our artifacts next. We're going to go into Urza's Incubator. We're always going to name Eldrazi's, and all of our Eldrazi spells will cast 2 less. Then we have the One Ring, the Infamous one. Gives us protection for a turn and draws us cards and deals us damage. After that, we have Chameel, the Inner Sun, makes all of our spells uncounterable and gives us Discover 5. Then we have Darksteel Monolith, lets us cast something for free every turn. If we have instant speed, then we can do it on our opponent's turns as well. Next, we're going to go into our only Planeswalker. It's Ugin the Ineffable, makes all of our colorless spells cost 2 less, and his +1 is great because it gives us a body, and when that body dies, it goes to hand. Then we're going to go into our enchantment list. We have Cryptolith. This allows all of our creatures to tap for mana, which once you give them haste is really good. Then we're going to go into Kozilek's Unsealing, another devoid enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell of mana value 4, 5, or 6, we get 2 Scions. And then whenever we cast a creature with mana value 7 or greater, we draw 3 cards. Speaking of drawing cards, Rhystic Study. Right after Rhystic Study, we have an Awakening Zone. This, at the beginning of our upkeep, will give us a singular spawn token. Those spawn tokens will hopefully have haste or just make something else bigger. After that, we have From Beyond. Now this one at our upkeep makes a Scion. The Scion is a 1/1, and it has a sack effect where we sacrifice this enchantment, and we search our library for it, and it draws a card. It is card specific, which means you can search for kindred spells. After that, we have Parallel Lives. This is one of our token doublers. Moving on from token doubling, we're just going to make some more tokens. With Path of Annihilation, this makes 2 bodies on ETB, makes all of our Eldrazi's able to tap for mana, and whenever we cast something with CMC 7 or greater, we gain 4 life. Moving on from there, we have Smothering Tithe, because what's better than asking people if they pay 1 with Rhystic Study? It's asking them if they pay 2 whenever they draw a card. Speaking of drawing cards, we have Struggle for Project Purity. With this specifically, you're never going to choose Enclave, you're always going to choose Brotherhood. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you will always draw 3 cards, assuming you have 3 other opponents, and your opponents will draw 1. And being that we're always sacrificing our spawns and scions, I even slipped in Grave Pact. So whenever you sacrifice your stuff, your opponents have to sacrifice stuff as well. It's a pseudo board wipe. Same thing with the Dictate of Erebos. Now we don't run many black spells, but these are definitely the most color intensive in the deck. Speaking of stuff getting got, we have Kindred Discovery. Whenever a creature of the chosen type ETBs or attacks, we draw a card. What's better than drawing cards? Getting more tokens to get us to draw even more cards. With our doubling season, this will get us double counters with our experience counters, and it'll get us double tokens. Alright, now we're going to move into the creature part of our deck tech, starting off with Propagator Drone. All of our creature tokens get evolve, and then it also makes more creature tokens if you pay the 4. Alright, moving on to the next one, we have Glaring Fleshraker. High utility card in this deck. It's actually part of our win condition. So whenever we cast a colorless spell, we get a 0/1 spawn, and whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under our control, Glaring Fleshraker deals 1 damage to each opponent. So we're going to keep making tokens, sacrificing tokens, making more tokens. After that, we have Herald of Kozilek, makes all of our colorless spells cost 1 less to cast. It's real convenient right there. Then we have Catacomb Sifter. Whenever another creature we control dies, we scry 1. And when Catacomb Sifter enters the battlefield, we make a singular 1/1 Scion token. So he makes the thing for you to sack to scry. Alright, then we're going to move into Flare Drone. Devoid first strike, and whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, target opponent loses 1 life. So we can give the slow drain to a single opponent. After that, we have Eldrazi Linebreaker. This will give one of our guys haste and plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the number of Eldrazi's you control. So this is our Alpha Strike card. After that, we have Eldrazi Repurposer. So when it enters and dies, we make a singular 0/1 Scion. Then we have Writhing Chrysalis. When you cast the spell, we make 2 colorless 0/1 spawns. Whenever you sacrifice another Eldrazi, you put a 1/1 counter on this, so this will make this infinitely big. After that, we have Sowing Mycospawn. So this is the one where you cast it, you go search your deck for a land, any land, you put it on the battlefield. It comes in untapped, and if it was kicked, you exile another target land. After that, we're going into Smothering Abomination, Flying Devoid. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. We're going to do that anyway, so you might as well get a payoff for it. And whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. So we'll keep drawing cards. Then we're going to go into Spawn Gang Commander. Devoid, when you cast it, you get 3 0/1 colorless spawn tokens. And then you can pay 1 in a generic to sacrifice an Eldrazi, and have this creature deal 2 damage to any target. After that, we're going into one of the infinite combos. Emrakul's Hatcher and the Eldrazi Displacer will just make infinite creatures. So you'll pay 3 to flicker, it'll come and make 3, and at that point we're hoping to either have our Glaring Fleshraker or Impact Tremors on field, or even our Writhing Chrysalis, and that'll slowly drain the opponents out. Same thing with our Brood Monitor. It'll come in, it'll make 3, and we'll sacrifice them to make 3 waste mana, and consistently do this until opponents are dead. After that, we have Sire of Stagnation. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library, and I may draw 2 cards. Then we have the only flying defense we have in this entire deck, Angelic Aberration. It's Devoid, Flying Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, I may sacrifice any number of creatures, each with base power or toughness 1 or less. Then I create that many 4/4 angels with flying and vigilance. I'm going to go into our 7 drops after that. We have Deceiver of Forms, still kind of on the cut list, but haven't found anything much better yet. Beginning of combat on our turn, we can reveal the top card of our library. If it's an Eldrazi creature card, I may have all of my creatures become a copy. Keyword there is may, you don't have to do it. After that, we have another 7-drop Bane of Bala Ged. When it attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents he or she controls. And then we're going to go into Null Drifter. It's either 7 or 3-drop, depending on what you choose to do. You can do the 3 for Invoke, but you have to sack it immediately. When you cast this, including with the Evoke, you draw 2 cards, and it has Flying and Annihilator 1, so it's probably better to pay the whole 7 if you can. After that, we're going to go into Spawnbed Protector. At the beginning of your end step, return up to 1 Eldrazi creature card from your graveyard to your hand, create 2 1/1 Eldrazi Scions. It's really good for recursion, assuming you've lost a few creatures here or there. Speaking of recursion, we're into our 9-drop, Artisan of Kozilek. When you cast it, return target creature from a graveyard to the battlefield. Speaking of 9-drops, Void Winnower makes it where your opponents can't cast even converted mana cost spells, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even mana costs. Now we're going to go into our finishers. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, cast it, you get 4 cards to your hand, and then it has Annihilator 4, and when it dies, you shuffle your graveyard back into your deck. Then we have Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. When you cast it, exile 2 permanents. When it attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. Then we have Flare of Loyalties. When you cast it, gain control of another target creature. It gets base power 10/10, Trample and Annihilator 2 and Haste. And don't forget that this has Annihilator 2 and Trample as well, it just doesn't have the aforementioned Haste. After that, we're going into Kozilek, the Great Distortion. If you have less than 7 cards in your hand, you draw until you have 7. It has Menace and a counter ability based on what you discard to it. After that, you have Pathrazer of Ulamog, Annihilator 3, and can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. I call that Super Menace. After that, we have Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. When you cast it, destroy a permanent, Annihilator 4, indestructible, and when it does die, then you shuffle your graveyard back into the deck. And the very last card here is only really here for if you start getting your sack board wipes on a line, and that is It That Betrays. So when you start sacrificing your scions and spawns with your Grave Pact and Dictative Erebos, you start acquiring everybody else's creatures. That's the whole deck, guys. That's all I got. Hope to see you guys in the next one. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and if you have any questions or upgrades that you want to suggest to me, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments. I also have an email you can email down below. Feel free to use it and just have fun down there, guys. Be respectful, but have fun. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.